The Brothers of Liberty, here to remind you what true freedom is. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Liberty with the older brother Kelton here. Always remember, harass my younger brother so he can make some more videos. With that being said, there's several topics I definitely want to make videos on. Unfortunately, it's just me and my brother, and we do this in between our work. So just bear with us. And as always, if you want to send us any topics, the email's in the description, and we'll post it on the bottom of the screen at the end of the video. Today, we're going to be talking about Joe Biden and his lack of knowledge with the Second Amendment. He just visited New York and once again made that analogy. Well, you can't buy a cannon. The people didn't take cannons home in the Revolutionary War. Well, let's go through this, Mr. Biden, because your handlers need to tell you the right information. Um, and apparently it's not right. You also called a Glock handgun a weapon of war. So are you saying that police officers are now soldiers because they use Glocks? And you keep now you want to go after the gun manufacturers and want people to be able to sue them for the damages they do. So in other words, if someone hits me with a Ford Escort, I should be able to sue Ford Company, right? Or if someone cuts me with a Ginsu knife, I should be able to sue Ginsu, right? If an alcoholic crashes into me, I'll be able not only to sue the car company, but I should be able to sue Jack Daniels too, right? You know, and the criminal had a stolen gun, which means he wasn't obeying the laws in the first place. But you know, you always get the Second Amendment wrong, and it's the right of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed. So let me point out your blunders here about the Second Amendment that you so called say you couldn't get a cannon. Well, guess what? There's no law that says a person couldn't bring home a cannon. Um, in fact, yeah, it was kind of not feasible to bring home a big cannon because usually it took several people to move it. Hence why they really didn't bring it home. However, it was stored in local militia places where they had places to store them. Lexington and Concord, the British was coming to the place to take the cannons and the weapons from the civilians. Remember, it was Minutemen, farmers, and stuff that protected the place. Now, unfortunately, they did not succeed. They were able to get some of the weapons and stuff, but um, the cannons were owned by people, the community. It wasn't by the military. And if you actually go today, believe it or not, you can own a cannon. That's right, you can own a cannon today. And the cannons they're talking about is not from the Revolutionary War. Um, Cannon shells themselves are classified as a destructive device under the 1934 National Firearms Act. They must be registered with the ATF, and it's legal under federal law. That, but it is prohibited in certain states. So we can actually own a cannon with cannon shells that explode in some states, and that's a federal law. Now, for your claim that no one can own a cannon, well, the muzzle loading cannons that were famous in the Civil War and Revolutionary War and all those pirate movies you see, they're not deemed as firearms. So you can actually legally own it because they do not consider that a gun. Oh, did I hurt your brain? Do you need some more ice cream? Well, let's go on because there's other weapons that you can own that you may not know of. Grenade launchers are legal to own, but you can only fire flares, of course. You can't fire any grenades or anything like that, but they are legal to own. Mini guns, or a Gauntlet gun as they've been called, are also legal to own if they were made prior to 1986. In fact, any machine gun is legal to own if it was made prior to 1986. So, if I found a machine gun online being sold and I can pass the proper background checks, which is pretty much the same background checks as getting a handgun, guess what? I can buy a machine gun from 1985. They are not illegal to own. They are legal to own. And I think those are a little bit more dangerous than those assault rifles you're talking about, which aren't even assault rifles. They're just regular rifles. The AR does not mean assault rifle. An assault rifle, you can switch it to full auto. ARs, you can't. There's no full auto setting. Learn. And flamethrowers are also legal to own under federal law. There are certain states that requires a license to own it, but even then, you can own one. So in some states, you don't even need a license to own it. So, with that being said, people do need to brush up on their Second Amendment uh, knowledge, and see what the laws say and don't say about guns. Because all these people say, "Oh, you can't own a machine gun." No, no, no. We cannot own a machine gun that was made in 1986 or sooner. But we can own a machine gun if it was made before 1986. We can own flamethrowers. And we can even own cannon shells that explode with cannons. And we don't even need a background check to own a muzzle fed cannon. You know, just long you put a cannonball in, put the pole in, put the powder, and then, or put the powder in first, pass it down in the cannonball, and then fire it off. And imagine a whole line of those firing, but they are legal to own. And if you have any comments, if you like the video, like it, share it. Let the people know that there is definitely more things you can own than what the government tells you. Because if they told you the truth, they know a lot more law-abiding citizens will go out and buy those things. Now, some of them are expensive, grant you that, but um, if muzzle loading cannons are not deemed as firearms, some of them can be very easy to make if you have the right equipment. And if you have any topics you want us to discuss or any information you want us to pass along, Brothers of Liberty 76@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. And once again, this is the older brother of Liberty, reminding you what true freedom is and ought to be.